Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha-Rakakwadash, Mama. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and their elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Aharawan Ben Yasha'Allah of the Lion's Den Camp. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Outwalking the children that believe in truth and in sincerity. It's your brother Yahawah back to another lesson, and Yahawah is edifying. I wanted to touch the topic on the whole Cbdc, pretty much going into like the Fednow and how they just implemented that system. I had ran across the article, and it's titled Global One World Currency Cbdc will be implanted chip. You know, pretty much going into how allegedly how maybe ultimately how these systems is tiring, it's like the narrow down. It's like a trap, knowing Esau and his tactics, and how he's a cunning hunter, and how he lays snares privily, all right, as the scriptures say, all right, snares, traps, to where, he's narrowing everybody down to one bank, so to speak. But when I read the article, it says, beware the mark of the beast. And then they require every human to be branded like cattle with a Cbdc RFID chip, which would be the only way available to buy food and water for you and your family. The Bank for International Settlements, BIS, in conjunction with the World Economic Forum, EU, and CCP, are currently phasing in a global banking system where all of your assets will be transferred to the Cbdc global digital currency. The reason for this would be the eventual removal and integration of all of your previously owned assets to a singular collectivist central bank. All right, that's like the narrow down that they're talking about. All right, which it sounds right, so to speak. All right. For there, you as a citizen will be judged much like the Chinese citizen score system. All right, because we know over there in China, they have that social credit score system. And that's why they have the whole stealing of information over here today with the social media. You have some states, even here in Babylon the Great, you have some states that ban TikTok, that social media platform, because it's Chinese owned, because they're setting up that system, all right, that algorithm, that AI type of technology that's gonna tie into that new order like system, man, with the blockchain system, the collapse of the dollar, to where it might not be to where, like our elders say here at the Lion's Den Camp, it's not more so where they're gonna completely just do away with the dollar, but you might as well say so, because the dollar is not gonna be worth anything. It's not gonna value anything. It's gonna be like toilet paper. All right. But pretty much they narrowing everybody down to a central bank, one bank, with that Fednow system that they just implemented, to where I believe like Fednow and something called Fedwire, which is all one and the same, Fednow, to where the corporations and these big corporations can do wire transfers just like the people could do wire transfers in an instant, all right, like a Cash App transaction. But it says, if you are thus labeled as someone who answers back and questions the given propaganda sprouted from the state, you will be blocked from many things. Already in China, citizens who say anything against the brutal communist state are barred from buying flight tickets, trains, schools, insurance, and even buying food, right? Ultimately, like what a gift destroyeth the heart. Ultimately, what Esau, he caused the problem to come with his solution, but his solution is never good for the people. All right. the Hegelian dialect, all right, the order out of chaos. And that's what he's operating in to try to fulfill his new world order. And he's trying to do so fast because he has a short time. All right, and I want to get a couple of scriptures. I want to start off in the book of James, chapter 5 and verse 1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Right, their riches are corrupted and their garments are moth-eaten. All the rape, robbery, and murder that they have done throughout the four corners of the earth, they ultimately going to have to pay all that back, all right, twofold, all right, financially and spiritually, all right, but they can never pay that back financially. So the Lord is going to get it on the back end, man. You don't need the money, all right, because they don't have any money to begin with, all right. Their money was a paper, a cloth, all right, the dollar, which was deceptive, which wasn't even money at all right. It's like monopoly money. Real money is gold and silver, and it was no longer money after the Nixon shock of 1971 when Nixon took it off the gold standard, all right. So this is back in James 5 and verse 2. Your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. Right, so the rust of them shall be a witness against you. All right, and this is why this devil is being found out today. All these other nations are dropping his dollar, and you have articles like the one we partially just read pertaining to what the Cbdc, how people have their eye on this thing and see it for what it is, man. All right, the end of all things, man. We're at the end of this thing, all right, pertaining to prophecy. All right, one of the few prophecies left that needs to be fulfilled pertaining to what? Famine, all right, the Jacob's trouble being at its peak, to the race wars and race riots, and the collapse of the dollar, all right. But the collapse of the dollar is going to show through famine, all right, ultimately. And the mandate, all right, Revelations 13 verse 15 on down, of them implementing this and mandating this for you to be able to buy, sell, eat, no matter you're small, great, or rich or poor. But I want to continue on here in James 5 and verse 3. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have treasures together. You have heaped, Salakia, treasures together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, man, right? The Lord of armies, all right? Sabaoth meaning armies, the Lord of troops, all right? Yahawah Shai, all right? And those laborers laboring in this truth, laboring in this truth and this sincerity, all right? You men, women, and children that's believing in this word, all right? You're crying upon the Lord, all right, to render judgment upon this place and return back our captivity, because this is long overdue, all right? This place is ran its course, and we see the end before us as they're trying to implement this new world order, push their wicked philosophies and agenda throughout the four corners of the earth and establish their new world order. But this James 5 and 5, ye have lived in pleasures on the earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the days of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Right. So it's nothing but bloodshed on his devil hands. All right. And he's going to pay for touching the apple of the Lord's eye. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it until he receive the early and latter rain, man. Right. And just like the camp lesson just passed, man. The precious fruit, man, going into the first fruits, returning back to their natural estate, and those who worship in truth and sincerity back then, all right, to eventually stand in that lot and put on as the elect today, man, and fulfill that number, all right, that fulfilled number, that said measure that's supposed to be fulfilled, all right, so all hell can break loose pertaining to Revelation 7, all right, Ezekiel 9 and 4, all right, and become marked, all right, marked with the mark of the Wah, meaning Egyptian, and don't receive this mark of Charagma in Revelations 13, verse 15 on down, all right, of that incision, that prick, that kwai, all right. But it's James 5 and 8. Be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh, right? We're in those times. This is Revelations chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time, man, right? He has a short time. So he has to get on ball when it comes to establishing his new world order and implementing his systems to narrow the people down to take that mandate, all right, and to bribe the people, all right. You even saw I saw the brother Gabar did a lesson pertaining to how they might give an annual, not an annual, but a monthly salary to people to even entice them and to accept the Motb, all right. And ultimately, what? That's the scriptures, man. As the scriptures say, the gift destroyeth the heart, man. This devil, he set traps and snares for the people, man. He's a cunning hunter. So he knows how to entice the people and bribe the people and have them in that herd sheep-like mentality, all the way until the slaughter, to the kill. But this back into the article, during the LD, when the 2020, when the whole plan Ninic had came around, when there was a enforcement, right? All sorts of intricate rules was possibly a dry run for the enforcement of chips being implemented for a global currency. And that makes a lot of sense, man. Tense people, it was the same type of vision that you would see on those cartoons or whatever that would play on the whole Motb being the RFID chip, all right, Revelations 13, verse 15 on down, man, which it is the RFID chip, man. All right, if you can see it. When it comes to instilling fear and terror into the public, the communists, they masters at manipulation, whatever, the global currency will be first rolled out. But hey, everything right now, we still using smartphones. You can scan and pay. All right, they're making it very accessible. I mean, the next step is being without the phone at this point, phoneless. Right. So it says what the plan, but the real plan is to incorporate the C-hip into the human hand and inject just under the skin. You will be required to purchase and sell utilizing the C-hip. Physical cash would be phased out, all right? But hey, it probably wouldn't be phased out, but it would be, it would be phased out. It won't be like done away with, but it would be like no use for it. It'd be phased, it's not. And even today, anyone who uses physical cash in many Western countries is viewed as a criminal, a subversive, all right? Like you're beneath. Ultimately just showing you how people are thinking in this time, man. And that's the the hopefully elect, we know, all right, that's what's to come, all right, pertaining to prophecy, as there's very few left, and that is one of the main prophecies that have to come to pass before the Lord shows up. But this devil, he has accumulated debt, and that debt has him in greed, and that greed is ultimately driving him to his judgment. All right, and that's all set up by Yahawah by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, it's all the doings and the will of Yahawah by Hashem Yahweh Shai to ultimately set his adversaries, all right, and these other nations up against Esau, Edom. All right. This nation that has the whole earth a wilderness ultimately. I want to go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and start at verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. All right, so this is why we read these accounts in the book, all right, a life, in the word of Yahawah by Hashem Yahweh Shai, all right, because it foretells, it tells our past, our present, and our future, all right. And right now we're speaking on what prophecy, pro meaning before, and size to speak. So what's to come, all right, the Motb, the Chip, all right, being mandated upon all men. Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for appointed time, but the end it shall speak. Right, it's speaking right now, and not lie. Right, so when, it's speaking right now. All right, and it is the Lord is causing this devil to be in haste and in rage, because he's losing his grip. And this is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, man. Right, so this devil is raging against the Most High. Ultimately, is going to lead to what? The war in heaven, Revelations 12, all right? Wickedness fighting and raging back against what? Righteousness, because he's losing his grip. As we stated before, and it's ultimately the Lord causing him to move in haste, all right, and be unease, all right, because he's accumulated a lot of debt throughout the four corners of the earth, man, twofold, financially and spiritually, with Yahawah by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, but this is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3, for the vision is yet for appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, right, pertaining to what? Prophecy, all right, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, right? Just like the Lord say, man, though it tarry, it will not come. What? You shall be hear wars and rumors of wars. Matthew, pertaining to Matthew 24, in verse 6, but the end is not yet. All right, and that's why you have a lot of these proxy wars going on, a lot of war talk pertaining to these nations. All right, Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, especially. All right, as Elder labeled them, and I think Moab, the so-called Chinese, labeled them as their pit bull. Okay. So it would not tarry, man, pertaining to prophecy, all right, and the judgment of this damn devil, all right, and as well as 2/3 of our people who like to aid and abet and hold hands and love his philosophy, love his way, love his agendas, all right. They want to partake in his new world order, want to partake into his money system, thinking it benefits them, and it doesn't. They're gonna be on the back end of this of the stick up yet again. This is Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yet also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. It cannot be satisfied, right? His greed will drive him to but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. You know, and that's why this place was a melting pot. And this is going to be the great altar of the Lord, where the majority, where the great gathering is going to be. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 30. Men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. But if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. Right? You know, he will give all the substance of his house, man. So don't despise a thief. All right? Because the Lord allowed him to get it. He's being found. All right? The evidence against him, you know, is that golden cup sitting in Babylon's hand. All right? Babylon the Great. All right? America's hand. You know, as the whore of the earth, to rape, rob, and murder. You know, and fill the world with his philosophies and agenda to establish the New World Order, a fourth industrial revolution. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne or daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Right, and no more be called tender and delicate. No more go be a great melting pot of thinking this country go benefit you. All right, this is, if you're coming over here from one third world country, you come into a worse one. It's gonna be another third world country soon, if not worse. So it says, what? Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne or daughter of the Chaldeans, right? You know, through their sorcery, through their witchcraft, they have gotten great riches, the scriptures say, Ezekiel. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man, right? You know, you're not going to be able to put him on a cross again, all right? Being Yahawah, all right? You're not going to be able to put him on a cross again. He coming with the spirit of the holy angels, man, and Al-Shadia, all right? A great power, all right? Demon-like power. This is Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 4. With thy wisdom and with thy understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Right? You know, by thy great traffic, man. I believe that traffic going to like business or commerce. I always like to look that word up. Merchandise, traffic, trade. Merchandise, traffic. All right. So through his merchandise, his traffic, his trade, he has gotten great riches, man. And all that's been off of the rape, robbery, and murder. He had to steal it first. Only thing he created was the patent office. All right. And he had to rape, rob, and murder the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to get it. All right. He won't have a pot to piss in. All right, he continued to persecute the Lord's people. This is the book of Job, chapter 20, and verse 18. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he have violently taken away an house which he buildeth not. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. All right, he gonna be like a dream in the kingdom. All right, after 1,000 years of slavery, he's gonna be eradicated, according to Obadiah 1:18, and this is Obadiah 1:16. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Right, because pertaining to Psalms 83, all right, all the heathen have had their hand into it. All right, as well as many other scriptures. All right, what nation have not had their hand in pertaining to the downfall of our nation? All right, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Roughly paraphrasing. All right, as the scriptures say. They drunk upon the holy mountain, so all the nations go drink the wrath and feel the wrath of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and they're gonna be in servitude in that day. Right, but as far as Esau, they're not gonna be put into a homeland to serve after 1,000 years of slavery. All right, they're gonna be eradicated. This is Obadiah 1:16. For as ye have drunk upon all thus saith the Lord. Obadiah 1:16. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yeah, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions, man. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, right? All representing the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, and the house of Esau for stubble, right? And that's why we're here in the neck of our enemies, where the great gathering, that great sacrifice again, where the majority of our people are at. All right, where those two sticks are back merged together. All right, so Jacob representing the southern kingdom, Joseph representing the northern kingdom. All right. In the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them. All right. That term kindle goes into hotly pursue. To burn, hotly pursue.
Strong's H, 1814. Dalak.
And devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it, man. So I read it from the top again. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and they shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it, man. All right, it's gonna be time to pay the piper. All right. So ultimately, it's that narrow down, that trap, that they're ultimately thinking they're setting for the people, but the Lord is setting it up for them, man. All right. Shalom, Habathan, DTA, to the next one.